Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Able Voices podcast. I'm Dr. Rhoda Bernard, founding managing director of the Berkeley Institute for Accessible Arts Education and the assistant chair of the music education department at Berkeley College of Music. And I am proud to present this podcast featuring disabled artists and arts educators. We are inviting artists with disabilities to be guest hosts for the Able Voices podcast. Today's guest host is John Bramblitt. John Bramblitt is an American painter and is also blind. He was the first blind muralist in the world, with murals in both New York and Dallas, known for his bright colors and a style that mixes Impressionism with the modern feel of pop art. John is also the author of the award-winning book, Shouting in the Dark. He has appeared on CBS Evening News with Katie Couric, ABC, NBC, Fox, Discovery Channel, and BBC Radio and TV, to name just a few outlets. And he has been featured in the New York Times and Psychology Today. He also designed the artwork for numerous magazine covers and even the artwork for major film productions. John is the subject of the award-winning documentary shorts Line of Sight and Bramblitt. His art has gone to over 120 countries around the world, and he is known for his interactive speaking events, lectures, and free art workshops where everyone paints together, no matter their ability or disability.
Welcome, John Bramblitt here, guest host for Able Voices podcast. I am so excited to bring you this interview with one of my favorite people and artists, Krista Webb. Krista is a wood burner, a pyrographer, and she's been creating intricate and large-scale wood burn pieces since 2019 under the name Blind Love Wood Burning. And you may think Blind Love, that's an interesting name. Well, Krista is legally blind and hard of hearing and is also an incredible advocate for the disability community. Krista, welcome. I'm so glad to be able to sit down and chat with you.
Hi there, John. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be a part of this.
Oh my goodness, I have been looking forward to this so much. And I want to ask you, I heard that you got into wood burning as a challenge from your husband. Is that right?
Yeah, actually, that's a good way to look at it. I am a very creative person, and I like to reuse things. And there are some. He's also a wood burning, not wood burning. He's a wood guy. He likes to build things out of wood, right? And I was looking at the scrap pile that he has, and it got me thinking that I wanted to create something out of this couple of pieces of wood for my camper, my new camper at the time. And I wanted him to just draw a couple lines for here and there, but he was busy at the time. And he's only done it once himself for this wood project that he built for our nieces, a jewelry boxes with their names on it. So he said, "Why don't you go ahead and give it a try?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right." So I plug in the wood burning pen, and I thought it was stupid. I didn't understand. I didn't understand how it worked. It was horrible. It was all crappy and not crisp line, and so I got curious and I hopped on to a wood burning Facebook page, and my mind was blown away. And that's when I'm like, wait, no way. People are creating art with this wood burning pen. How is that possible? And so here I'm learning, oh my gosh, there are different kinds of wood burning pens. There are different kinds of wood that you should burn on. There's the prepping work that you should sand the wood beforehand, and all this kind of stuff that I could bore you with. And so later I discover, okay, all right, this $10 wood burning pen needs to go. This is a bad pen. And later I got a $300 pen. Wow, what a difference. So that was the beginning of my journey.
That is incredible. That is just, I whenever I was first introduced to your artwork, I was just blown away. Because with my introduction to wood burning was, I guess, in middle school, and you would burn just stuff into wood, and none of it was good. Like, it was just sort of this blocky kind of thing, and your artwork is so intricate. The imagination is just leaping off the board. It's just incredible, and it's tactile. Like, I can feel it, and it's just I was just blown away. I had no idea. You opened up an entire world to me when it comes to this art form. And one of the things that struck me is because I'm a visually impaired artist as well,
Hmm.
and the idea of using like hot things to to burn things it just blows my mind because oh my gosh, it's just was that a challenge for you, like to with a medium, or was it scary, or was that part of the allure of it, you
Oh,
think?
I was never scared. I'm always up for the challenge, and it became my new religion, I have to say. I was addicted. I was addicted. I did not want to stop
Oh, I love that.
I did not want to stop creating. And my one of my love languages is giving. And I had started learning, it was September of 2019, and Thanksgiving was coming up. And I was talking to my mom about, oh, what if I made personalized wood burn keychain for all of their relatives during Thanksgiving at the Thanksgiving table? There were at least 50 of us, 50, maybe 60 people at the dinner table. Well,
Mm.
after everyone ate, what I did is I shuffled around the keychain and everyone got a random keychain and they had to figure out whose keychain is for who.
Oh,
So
cool.
they would figure out, oh, I know who's a big 49ers fan. Oh, I know who has a husky dog. Oh, I know who's a big whiskey drinker or who loves play music, guitar and, things like that. So it was really fun. And I was surprised how quickly people were able to figure out which keychain was for who. And they were they felt really touched by this personalized keychain. And I just kept creating. And then eventually I created an Etsy page and I started selling on there. And yeah, I was just surprised. People actually wanted me to create pieces for them. Like they wanted to give me money.
I believe it. Your stuff is incredible, and what a wonderful idea! How special that is for your family to be able to get that keychain,
Mhm.
and it had a game involved. I mean, that's and they have this memento that they'll keep for the rest of their lives. That is just brilliant.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, it was
I
fun.
I'm wondering. So how did you get started with art? I mean, did you draw, illustrate? Like where did this all begin?
Yeah, that's a good question. In middle school, I really enjoyed penciling things out and drawing hands. And I guess I should talk a little bit about myself. I have a condition called Usher's syndrome, but that didn't happen till later on. I didn't what I should say I wasn't diagnosed with Usher syndrome until I was 19. But I was born deaf and I've been wearing hearing aids since I was age 2, since I was 2 years old. And I went to a deaf and hard of hearing school from preschool all the way up to 7th or 8th grade. And so sign language was a part of my everyday language, at least at the school. Sign language was required. And it started in middle school when I started drawing out hands and sign language. So,
Oh.
a friend of mine, say her name is Danny, and I would spell out Danie with the hands in sign language. And like I said, it's my love language, and it meant a lot to them that they got this, you know, handwritten sign language to them. And I didn't do a whole lot of art afterward. It all started um, after I stopped driving, which was I stopped driving in 2018, October of 2018. So I had about a year of just kind of accepting this condition that I could no longer drive anymore. And, I think we all go through this, going through depression. And I think it's important to find something, keep your hand or your mind busy.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
when wood burning came to my life. And like I said, I couldn't stop.
That is wonderful. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's incredible the power that art has, isn't it?
Hmm.
To be able to take our minds off the bad things and help us focus on the better things and
Oh yeah, it
stop
quickly
stressing.
became my therapy.
Oh my goodness. I love it when you say that it was your religion. I understand that completely.
Yeah, for
And
real.
but oh my goodness, and for those that don't know, like Usher syndrome is the leading genetic cause of combined deaf blindness.
Mhm.
And but I was wondering, since you mentioned that you're living with Usher syndrome, do you think that that's affected your artwork? Like how do you think that shaped the artwork that you make?
100%, only because it's driven me, it's giving me that purpose, and if I didn't have this condition, it probably just would have been just like a really like a side hobby. I wouldn't have become as addicted to it. I probably would be working at a job somewhere else. Um, Wood burning, yes, it is kind of a job, but I try to make it more of a hobby for me because, I'm pretty fortunate where I can kind of take my time with my art and um, not stress about having to sell all of my art pieces, that I can go at my own pace. And I think that's the key there is if it becomes too much of a chore, then where did the passion go? I'm afraid that the passion would no longer be there if it becomes too much of a chore.
I know.
So I think it's important to draw a boundary.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I don't know. I'm obsessed with art as well,
Uh-huh.
and I was so worried for the longest that because I work as an artist that that it would start to become just a job. And but I have to say though, at least for me, whenever I work all day, painting, whenever I take a break at night,
Uh-huh.
what I do to take the break is I paint more, but I paint on something that's different.
Right.
I don't know. I think I see that in you where your creativity, like the pieces that you come up with, are just incredible. And I was wondering, Krista, if you could, because this is a podcast, so it's all sound. But
Mhm.
would you mind describing a piece of yours? Like there's one, it's the Abbey Road with the mice, and it's just incredible. But would you be able to give us a verbal description of that piece?
Yeah, so the artwork that John is talking about, it's actually I named it Stabby Road.
That's
So if you know the Beatles, the classic road, Abbey Road, there's the three blind mice crossing the crosswalk, and the mouse in the very front has a white cane, and the two other mice behind are holding each other's tails. And then there's a butcher lady behind, or I should say, an older lady with a butcher knife chasing the three blind mice. And if you know the classic old nursery rhyme, I don't know it by heart at the moment, but basically, the old lady is trying to chase the three blind mice to cut off their tails. Anyway, the details of the wood burn, the road is actually all dots or stipple. And there's, oh, I don't know how many dots, maybe 1,000,001 dots.
it's crazy.
It took a lot of time. It's a pretty big piece. And I mean, I'm pretty proud of it. It's currently displayed above my fireplace mantle downstairs. It's a great conversational piece when people look at it. Um, so yeah, that was a fun one.
Oh my goodness. And one of the things that really comes across is the humor in your artwork as well. Like you're able to give this like I don't know, it's intricate, it's beautiful, it's so well done, and that's the first thing I think people notice when they look at your artwork
Hmm.
is that it's just that it's very very professionally done. It's incredible. The line work is brilliant. The stippling blows my mind because there was one that you took a take you took on American Gothic where
Hmm.
it was a cat and a dog. They were the main
Yeah,
figures, and
favorite.
the stippling that you did in the dress, it was just like, oh my gosh, this would have taken a million years, and it was just so beautiful. But there's also this humor that comes across, and you're
Hmm.
not hitting people over the head with it, but it puts a smile on people's faces.
Hmm.
It's a sort of humor that it doesn't get old. It's like every time you're around the piece,
Uh-huh.
it just makes you smile again. And there was a piece you did, I believe, with an elephant, and he's
Hmm.
sitting in a
Oh
tree.
yeah,
It's just I don't know. It's
Yeah, that piece, that one, that's a fun one where the elephant is sitting on the tree branch, and is looking at the Seattle, like the Mount Rainier and the Space Needle, and below the elephant there is a blind man with a white cane walking towards the tree underneath the tree branch. And the question is, and that's the joy about art, is it makes the viewers think about, what does this mean? And so, okay, does the blind man know that there's an elephant sitting on the tree branch, or is he making it up? Is it just part of his imagination?
That's funny. That's so brilliant. It's just I don't know. I love that. It just seems like there's hidden things in your paintings, and does make you think.
Uh-huh.
And it's just incredible. So I'm wondering. You mentioned this a little bit, like you said you went on the internet, but I'm wondering how you learned how to do the artwork that you did, because
Mhm.
I think you're doing it in a little bit of a modern way. Like, so your art education, how did you go about learning the techniques, and how did you become the incredible artist that you are today? Where'd you pick this stuff up?
Yeah. Okay. So first, it started with the Facebook group, that wood burning Facebook group, when people were sharing some tips and tricks and things to avoid and things to focus on. And like I said, I was addicted, and then I would hop on YouTube and watch YouTube videos, and and then and then was it like March or April of 2020? So the next year, I joined the Instagram world. And I was brand new. I had no idea how to work Instagram. But the only reason why I joined Instagram is because I wanted a place to document, to share my woodburn pieces, mostly just for me. I just wanted, it's like a journal. I wanted to journal my pieces somewhere. But then people started following me. And I remember getting like 20 followers. I'm like, wow, people want to follow me and they like my woodburn pieces. And then I hit 100 followers. I'm like, oh. Anyway, the first year I was focused on following other wood burning artists, and I was a part of a burn club, is what it's called, a burn club. And I know a lot of
Mm,
people chuckle, but it's its own community, and we got each other's back. We learned from each other, give each other tips, and we would have monthly Zoom chats. We would have burn challenges too, where maybe one week we had different prompts to do. And that's when our creative juices would go. Okay, oh, okay. So the theme is, and it would be like maybe an adjective and then a noun. And then you have to just create whatever comes to your mind. And then people would share their art, and and so I think I learned a lot. I know I learned a lot from the burn club. So that was the first year, and that's what I used Instagram for too, is learning and being a part of that community.
wow, that is incredible.
Yeah.
So and that's so interesting, because you're learning from other people. You guys are inspiring each other.
Hmm.
It's interesting to me, because you're using technology. You're using the internet for that. But then you go back in history and you hear about groups of artists, like in Paris or somewhere, and they get together and they inspire each other, and they create a movement. And you're a part of that, but in the digital age. So you're meeting, you're inspiring each other.
Hmm.
That's I don't know, that's really cool.
And then
So
I would like to add that, so after the first year, it was probably 2021, 2022, just a couple years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I started using the hashtag blind artist, legally blind, deaf blind, hard of hearing, deaf blind art, things like that. And that's when I had a whole nother community out there that I was unaware of. And I think that's probably how I found you on Instagram. And and then I started creating art, incorporating sign language, incorporating braille, and doing deeper burns, like even deeper burns. So more tactile, more texture, I should say.
mm,
So that's been really cool being a part of that community with the deafblind community.
that is interesting. And if somebody wanted to find you on Instagram, what is your Instagram handle?
It's blindlove.woodburning. Blindlove.wood.
That's brilliant. And guys, you should definitely go in there and check out the artwork. It is, you will not, you will not be sorry. It's just incredible. And like I say, it will put a smile on your face. It's so wonderful. But and I wanted to ask you, because I know in the last series that you did, you would incorporate some different things into your pieces, like you would put a butterfly,
Mhm.
and you would have at least like you'd have one colored element in the piece as well. And I'm wondering, are you still? And people loved that. It was so nice, because then they would go to a piece and they would start looking for a butterfly. They're like, "Where is it? It's hidden in here somewhere." And in the color that you would put in, it would be like one area that would create focus, and you would see that, but it wasn't distracting. It drew your attention to that one place.
Mhm.
Is that something you're still doing, or what are you doing now with your artwork?
So, I mean, that's a very good observation. So for me, I love to use more wood burning than color, because if I add too much color, then it takes away from my wood burning. And a lot of people don't realize that wood burning takes time. You have to have patience to wood burn. If you don't have patience, wood burning is not for you. And wood burning, and I think that's why wood burning has become my therapy, because it forces me to slow down and just really enjoy
Mm.
the process. And I do like to add a little bit of color here and there sometimes. And there was a time when I was adding like a little butterfly, like a hidden butterfly in my pieces. But lately I've been doing some other custom commission pieces and not a whole lot of pieces for myself. So it's not something that I do for all of the pieces, but it's fun to do. Fun to do that. Lately I've been lately, I've been doing wood burning with epoxy. Are you familiar with epoxy resin?
I am with resin, but wow, you're burning it.
So no, I don't burn on the epoxy. That would be very dangerous, and by dangerous, bad for your health. You definitely don't want to inhale that burning sensation over the epoxy. So what I do is I wood burn my piece, and then I do a pour. Or so currently I'm doing a piece of the Washington State outline, and inside the Washington State is Mount Rainier and a river coming up the Mount Rainier, and on the side a big old silhouetted steer. And in the river, I actually used a Dremel, and I dug out the river, and I dug out part of the Mount Rainier for the snow, and I poured some white resin in the mountain, and I poured some blue in the river. But not only did I pour the epoxy, I grabbed some little tiny pebbles that we had in our yard, and I put it in the river, and it looks so cool, and I'm really proud of it. I love how it turns out. It's turning out. It's
Wow.
almost done. I just got to add the border around it, but it's looking really good. That just that epoxy, like I said, it's still a lot of wood burn, but a little bit of that color epoxy. Oh man, it's pretty cool.
That sounds incredible. That's you are so inventive. With your artwork, it seems like you're always pushing the boundaries, and
Yeah.
you, like I say, you open up the whole world to wood burning to me, of what it could be. And I'm thinking that it's an art form that a lot of people. I mean, I think everybody knows about wood burning, but they don't know the heights that it can go to, like the artistry that can be created with it.
Uh-huh.
And I was wondering, like, if you could just describe the process a little bit, like whenever you first start,
Yeah.
what do you is it the selection of the wood that you're looking at, or what is it that you're how do you become a wood burner like you like
Right.
what sort of
Oh
process
my
do you
gosh,
do?
I could spend hours.
I
So
know it's a big question, but
it is a big question. So there are different types of wood to burn on, and pyrographers will have their favorite kinds of wood to burn on. So I really enjoy burning on maple and cedar. Those are softer wood. Um, Oak.
I bet it smells nice too when
Yeah,
you're
oh,
doing
oh, it
that.
does, it does. So my husband will come home from work and, "Oh, smells like someone's been wood burning." Smells so good. I do have a fume extractor, and I do wear a mask sometimes. It depends how deep of a burn I'm doing, how smoky it gets, and but
Mm.
there pine wood is probably my least favorite because the grain really pops out and makes it harder to have a smooth, crisp wood burn line. Um,
Mm.
so there are my I do have favorite. Oh, and a poplar. I love burning on poplar wood. That's a nice soft wood to burn on. So I'll pick out the wood, and like I said, my husband, he does woodworking stuff on the side, and I'll have him make cuts for me, and then I do the sanding, and I usually use my orbital sander, and you start with a lower grit. Always start with a lower grit, so maybe I'll start at grit 60, and then I work my way up to 80 or to 120 grits. Just kind of work my way up until it's smooth like a baby's bottom. That's the whole goal. You want it smooth like a baby's bottom in order for you to have a nice smooth burn without any
Okay.
hiccup, without any bumps in the way. And so I'll make it smooth, and then I'll typically work on the design digitally, whether that's on my iPhone or on my boy's iPad. And I'll usually use, well, there's a couple different apps that I use. One of them is called Procreate, and then there's a couple other apps that I use to just kind of put together some different digitals and drawing out this or that, and that just really helps me see if it looks good, if it's something that will look good. Because I guess I should explain a little bit with my vision. I have tunnel vision, and normal vision is about 180 degrees of their vision, and I have about less than 5 degrees of central vision, and that's like looking through two drinking straws. So there's a lot of scanning, and it does make it challenging when I am doing larger wood burn pieces, because I do miss areas where I didn't finish. Maybe I missed a spot, or or the tricky thing is with wood, they might have knots, okay? And
Oh,
knots
yeah.
can make or break your piece, meaning it could,
Really?
and not it's just making my art piece not look so good, or it can look really good, and you can make it look like, okay, it's part of the sun, or it's part of the tree, or whatever the art piece is. So
Oh,
got
that's
you really got to be
interesting. Yeah.
creative. Sometimes you got to work around the knot, and so that's another good reason why I like to use my phone or the iPad, and I'll try
Mhm.
to work around the knot. Then I usually pencil it out on the wood piece, and I'll use my phone camera because it shrinks the overall view with my phone camera rather than a lot of scanning and things like that. Sometimes I'll just wing it with my wood burning pen. It just depends. Most of the time I'll have it penciled out. And then my favorite part is the burning process. That's when I can finally relax and not feel so stressed. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
You know,
then
Krista. Oh, I'm
oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
and I was just gonna say, and then like I said, I could bore you to tears with this whole wood burning stuff. But there's a whole thing about finishes, what finishes to use. If you want to use stain, if you want to use urethane or epoxy, or leave it unfinished. And that's all I'm gonna say. So
Oh my goodness. There is so much, and I got excited whenever you were mentioning about your vision,
uh-huh.
and I think that was so important for you to mention because for a lot of people they don't really understand visual impairment and that it's such a spectrum. And
Mhm.
that, it's a lot of times somebody will think, oh, somebody's visually impaired. So they
Mhm.
lump everybody into like one idea of what it's like to be blind. And, but your use of technology, your use of different techniques,
Uh-huh.
and it's just, I think it's just incredible. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because art is all about what you can do. And you take what you have and you start to
Uh-huh.
work around it. And I just think you're a great, this incredible example of that. Of like you say, your vision is like looking through two drinking straws,
Uh-huh.
and then you take that and then you combine it with the apps, you combine it with the art techniques, and then you come up with this just incredibly special work. But it makes me want to ask you. So if you were talking to a young artist that had a disability
Uh-huh.
and they were just interested in art, they loved art, is there any advice that you would give to them?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for all the kind words. I could say the same thing about you and your art. You create such beautiful art, John, and I
Oh,
think
you're
you're
so kind.
inspiration for many artists out there, not just for the blind, but just for the whole community out there who's also interested in art too. So I guess if I want to share some words with a person who has some sort of disability and they're interested in art, I would say just go for it and just start somewhere and don't be intimidated. Don't let it scare you right away like it did. Well, it didn't scare me away in the beginning, but I was rather than being turned off, I was interested to learn more. So because I learned more, I got better and I learned how to make it work with my disability. And and one day I may have to stop wood burning when my central vision is completely when or if my central vision is completely gone. And if that's the case, I think I'll always have that art passion in me. And there's always other ways to do things with your hand, whether that's like what you do, John, is painting with your hands, paintbrush or whatever. Like you can feel the paint, but there's also pottery art out there and just other tactile art that is possible. Or and it depends on your blindness too, because like you said, blindness is a spectrum. So it just depends how you can do the art too, because if you have zero vision, I wouldn't recommend wood burning because you don't want to cut your bare fingers with the wood burning pen like you would with a paintbrush. So yeah, yeah,
That's probably good advice, but I have to be honest. I've been so tempted to try, and we have a wood burning thing here that Jackie, my wife, had, and I haven't tried to use it because I don't know. I need my sense of touch to paint.
right,
I'm
right.
so
I
worried
was
that
thinking about that. I
you know.
wonder if they have like I wonder, like sewers, they have that metal tin thing they put on their finger.
Mm?
You know what I'm
Oh
talking about? What do you call that?
yeah. I
I
don't
wonder
know.
if you wore that, then you wouldn't have to worry about your burning your finger when
Yeah,
you're
but you'd have to feel the line that I don't know,
yeah.
but your artwork is just incredible. Like I was blown away when the first time that I was around it, and every time, and one of my favorite things is to see people that have never seen your artwork before, and they come across it, and they always stop, and that's such a wonderful thing to see when people are walking, they're living their life, they're doing their thing, and then suddenly they come across a piece of art, and it's like everything has been paused, everything's been put on hold, and they're just enraptured with the piece, and they spend time with it, and I don't know. It's one of my favorite things in the world, and I just see that with your pieces over and over and over. And I'm wondering, like, so you're so creative. You're always trying new things. Like you're working with the resin, the epoxy.
Mhm.
What future plans do you have? Like do you have an idea of where you would like to take your artwork?
Well, I actually recently decided to slow down and focus on me and and so I have been taking a break doing larger commissions. I don't mind doing like little smaller commissions here and there, but um I think it's also important, like I said, you gotta have a good boundary line and make sure that your mental health is in check. And so I've been really lately enjoying creating art for myself and
Mm.
just doing art that I want to do, and just it really helped push my imagination because of that. And recently I was given an opportunity to commission this really large art piece, the largest piece I've ever done. And this organization, Sight Savers America, they flew me out there and had me reveal the art piece that they commissioned me to do in front of this 300 people at the event. And while I was creating that art piece, it actually inspired me to create even bigger piece with something else that I have in my mind. I'm so excited to work on when my kids start school in the fall. and it's gonna be whimsical. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of gnomes, and
Oh man.
it's gonna have gnomes with different disabilities. I'm gonna have a wheelchair going down the slide from the mushroom.
Oh
It's gonna be
wow.
so fun. I'm really excited to put that one together. So that's what I'm gonna be working on in the fall. And I'll probably I already have a digital I have a digital sketch somewhat ready, but it needs a little bit more work on that before I make it into reality.
That sounds so incredible. Well, man, I have something to look forward to for the fall. I would love to be able to touch that,
Yes,
and see what
yes.
it feels like.
Yeah,
But
I'll have to bring it
that
by
just,
Yellow Dog and show it to you when it's all
oh
done.
man, please, oh my gosh, please, that would be amazing. And I think we're just about out of time, Krista. But I'm wondering if you could share your contact information again, so if people want to check out your artwork and
Uh-huh.
find out more about you.
Yeah. Well, there's two ways. If they don't do social media, they're welcome to email me at blindlove.woodburning@gmail.com. And if they have Instagram, then you can find me there, blindlove.woodburning. And I would be happy to have a chat and yeah, reach out. Would love that.
Thank you so much for chatting with me today. I am so inspired. I learned so much. I want to. I Oh my goodness! After just sitting down with you these minutes, it makes me want to get over the easel and create and do something so much.
One day.
Thank you.
Well, one day we'll
Thank
have to
you.
do a collab.
Oh man, yes. Count me in. I'm down.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, John. This has been fun. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your time and your kind word. And this was great. Thank you, John.
You're awesome, Chris. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
I will. You too.
Able Voices is a production of the Berkeley Institute for Accessible Arts Education, led by me, Dr. Rhoda Bernard, the founding managing director. It is produced by Daniel Martinez del Campo. The intro music is by Kai Levin, and our closing song is by Sebastian Batista. Kai and Sebastian are students in the arts education programs at the Berkeley Institute for Accessible Arts Education. If you would like to learn more about our work, find us online at berkeley.edu/BIAAE or email us at BIAAE@berkeley, that's LEE.edu.